Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm Alexis, and I recently did a back-to-back sailing on board Utopia of the Seas, and I want to share with you all my honest thoughts and takeaways from it. I'm going to be sharing with you guys all the things that I loved as well as all the things that I did not love. So let's just get right into it. Welcome to the world's biggest weekend, where you can find endless activities, outstanding entertainment, and endless options for dining. Now let's talk about the ship itself. Utopia of the Seas is the second largest cruise ship by Royal Caribbean, and it's absolutely stunning. I think the decor and brightness of the ship was a unique touch to this Oasis class ship. I always enjoy boarding brand new ships, and this one was beautiful. If you have been on Oasis class ships, you know that they're all pretty much the same with a few differences. Instead of having a bionic bar, Utopia of the Seas had the pesky parrot, which was like a cool little tiki bar. And I prefer this over a bionic bar anyways, because although the bionic bar is such a cool concept, it's kind of like those one and done type of things. You only really do it once on your cruise. In Spotlight Karaoke, they had a new private room that you can pay to book out and have private karaoke time with your family and your friends. I didn't see anyone use this room during either sailing, and I don't know if that's because people just don't know about it or because of the price, and that kind of turned people away from it. Some specialty restaurants now have new locations on board. Izumi is now located in Central Park, and they also added a takeout window to Izumi. I really like this takeout window because sometimes you don't really want just a full meal, you want a snack. And so it's nice to be able to just go up to the window, order a sushi roll, and take it and be on your way. This costs $10 and it is included to a dining package if you purchase one. I think that I prefer the Izumi location on all of the other Oasis class ships. And although Central Park is such a nice place to eat, on the other Oasis class ships, it's located on deck 4, and I like it because they have windows so you can see out to the ocean. The Royal Railway is located on deck 4, where the Izumi would be on your other Oasis class ships. Giovanni's is now 2 stories with an outside patio that overlooks the boardwalk, and I will share more about all of that once I talk about food. Instead of having dazzles, Utopia has added a music hall, which you can usually find on the Quantum class ship, and I think that the music hall was definitely a better upgrade than just having dazzles. Another difference on Utopia that I really did not like was that the spa and gym area did not have a coffee and juice bar. On every Oasis class ship, when you walk into the spa and gym area, you can find a coffee and juice bar that I have incorporated into my cruising routine when I am on these mega ships, which is a lot. I know it may not seem like a big deal, but for me, this was kind of an ick. The fact that coffee and juices were included in your drink package was just a game changer. Being able to have those protein smoothies and protein snacks and freshly squeezed juices was just a healthier twist to your cruise. If you were on a longer sailing and you wanted to be a little healthier, or if you just want something lighter throughout the day, those protein smoothies were always my go-to. This was probably my biggest upset of Utopia, but once again, I know it's not a big deal, but once you kind of get in your cruising routine and habits, and you expect something to be there and then it's not, it kind of just throws you off, and I really did not like this change. Overall, I rate the ship a 4 out of 5. Now let's talk about dining and drinks. Utopia had what I thought was the best selection for dining. You have your regular main dining, Windjammer, Sorrento's, El Loco Fresh, and they also added a new takeaway, grab and go food by the pool, and that was the spare tire. And although I didn't really get to try this food on my sailing, I thought it seemed like a pretty cool concept to be able to just grab it and go back to your deck chair. If you want to splurge and eat at a specialty restaurant, Utopia has so many options for you. On the boardwalk, you can find Johnny Rockets or Playmakers, and that's really nice to just grab a burger or wings. Giovanni's was 2 stories, and the top level was kind of like a lounge, which you could order wine flights and pizza, and then the lower level was the main restaurant. And then you also had your outdoor patio, which overlooked the boardwalk. On my sailing, I sat inside in the main restaurant, and I just don't think that I would recommend you to sit on that patio. Since Utopia is doing sailings in the Bahamas, it's just so hot right now, and it just doesn't sound appetizing to eat a hot meal also in the hot weather. Since it's also located above the boardwalk, you can see into those people's balconies. And so it was kind of awkward if you're sitting there at a nice restaurant trying to eat your food, but other people can look at you and you can look at them in their rooms. I don't know if I like this new addition. The food at Giovanni's, however, is always really good. I tried something new this time and I ordered their margarita pizza, which was huge, but it was really good. So if you like a gourmet pizza, order this. Izumi on Utopia has more tables for hibachi and a new type of dining, which is the omakase, which is like a chef's table, but for sushi and seafood. I did get to try omakase, and I thought it was a great experience. Every dish that was brought out, I thoroughly enjoyed, and each dish came with a different drink, so that was really cool. Our geisha was named Summer, and she was informative, and I think that the group that we were sat with also made the experience fun. Omakase costed $70 per person, and that included your gratuities, and that was on top of the dining package that I had already purchased. Now remember that prices can always vary between sailings and seasons, so keep that in mind when I talk about my pricing and what I paid for my sailing. I think that if you like sushi and seafood and trying new things, then you should splurge and do omakase. The Mason Jar is a new restaurant that I had never tried before. This was located on deck 14, right next to the Windjammer, and not only was this a cool location to eat, but to also hang out in. The Mason Jar has a great bar where they serve premium quality cocktails, and they also have a live country band that plays in the evenings. I really enjoyed this spot because no other cruise ship has a place where they play country music. And since I personally love country music, I had so much fun here. The Country Crew Trio Band was the band that was playing every night, and I thought they were really talented. Now for the food, it had a country feel to it. They served southern food like cornbread and gumbo, and I think my favorite thing that I ordered was the ribs and the root beer float. Hooked was also added to Utopia, which is only on Symphony and Navigators of the Seas. And when I heard it was coming to Utopia, I was so excited because Hooked is one of my top favorite restaurants at sea. This is all seafood, and the location was cool because it was overlooking the solarium. So whenever we were sailing, it had a good view of the ocean. Our waiter Dragon made our dinner fun. And if you're an oyster person, then I think you should definitely try the oyster shots. And it's basically just a shot of vodka with a whole oyster in it. Since I love oysters, I always enjoy ordering this. This is always really funny to watch people order and try, but I think that's what makes it part of the experience. Overall, the food at Hooked is always good. If you love seafood, I think that's a great spot for you to go to. The Royal Railway is the new immersive dining experience on board Utopia of the Seas. I did an entire video on the Royal Railway immersive dining experience, so if you want more details about that, then go check out that video. For this video, however, I'm just talking about the food. So the food for me was just okay. I thought it was kind of weird and the portion sizes weren't very big, but nonetheless, I still think that it's worth the extra cost because of that experience. And since it's at such high demand right now, if you can get in for a booking, you should definitely do it. Utopia still had other of your favorite restaurants like Chops, which we did not make it to on this sailing, but Chops is always a great steakhouse that you can find on any other Royal Caribbean ship. They also have 150 Central Park, which is my absolute favorite restaurant from Royal Caribbean. we ended up going there twice as well. Since Utopia has so many great selections for that dining, I think that it's absolutely worth it to splurge and pay extra for that ultimate dining package. We ended up spending about $763 for both sailings put together. Overall, I rate the food and drinks a 5 out of 5. Now, let's get into entertainment on board. I am always so excited to watch the entertainment when I go on these mega ships because Royal seems to really put a lot into their entertainment on these ships. Utopia has 3 main shows: the Aqua 82 show, they have the Utopia Ice show, and then the All-In production show. The Aqua show, Aqua 82, was a newer version of the Aqua 80 show on Oasis, and this was a show you don't want to miss. The show has high divers, synchronized swimming and dancing, and of course, great 80s music to rock to. The Utopia Ice Show was my favorite on board Utopia. It's supposed to give you those euphoric feelings, and if you know that going into the show, it will make a lot more sense. The Ice Cast was so talented, and shout out to Jordan Bouth. I was so happy to finally watch her perform and meet her in person. The songs that they used went perfectly with their choreography, and what made this ice show different from all the other ones I've seen was they had a certain song number where they included the crowd, which was so much fun. The All-In production show was basically just a high energy concert. This had the biggest cast I think I'd ever seen. They had 6 main singers and like 20 dancers, which they were all talented. I actually think that these 6 singers were the best singers I think I've seen on any cruise ship. I was also a little bummed though because Oasis class ships all have their own Broadway production show and Utopia didn't. We also saw a really funny comedian and he played in the attic and in the Royal Theater. And I do want to state that for these mega ships, you do have to book your reservations before going to the shows. And you can do that through the Royal app, but what I recommend is on embarkation day, as soon as you get on board and after you do your muster drill, I think you should go to deck 4 and go to the attic, and there's usually crew waiting in there to help you sign up for all your bookings. So you sit with the crew member and they go through the whole cruise and every show and you book it right then and there. This is really cool because that way you don't have to worry about booking them throughout your cruise and it's already taken care of for you. Utopia had certain theme parties that I thought were so cool. Every night was a different theme party and the overall atmosphere on board Utopia was a big party. If there was only one party to choose to go to, I would recommend not missing the silent toga party on the last night. Overall, I rate the entertainment on board a 4 out of 5. The itinerary for Utopia is very simple and short. Since Utopia is doing 3 and 4 night sailings, the itinerary is Nassau and perfect day at Coco Cay, which is Royal Caribbean's private island. I personally don't like Nassau, but I think that's because I've been there countless times. But nonetheless, there's still a lot to do in Nassau, like you can go deep sea fishing, you can go to Atlantis, go to the beach, and of course, shopping. Perfect Day at Coco Cay is one of my favorite ports. That's because there's so much to do, and whether you're wanting a cheap, no spending kind of day, or if you want to splurge and spend money for extra activities, Coco Cay has everything for everyone. Let me know in the comments if you would like for me to do just a video on all the things to do at Coco Cay. On the first sailing, we went to the new adults only Hideaway Beach Club, which exceeded my expectations. If you're wanting a more adult feel in a party, then Hideaway Beach is for you. There were so many chairs to sit, and they had a cool bar called On the Rocks, which had live music and fun games. They had multiple pools, and the main pool had a DJ in the center and a swim-up bar. This pool with the DJ was an absolute party. The energy was high, and I thought it was cool that it gave off that Vegas day club vibes. I will say that our bar service at the pool was trash. The bartenders were not friendly. It was really slow, and it kind of just seemed like they didn't want to be working there. I get that it could probably be annoying to them sometimes to work in that environment with all the loud music and the drunk people, but that doesn't really make an excuse for the horrible service that we got. We ended up having to get out of the pool every time we wanted to drink and walked over to the On the Rocks bar. I also tried the new pizza spot, Hideaway Beach, and I was pretty disappointed. And I was shocked because I usually love all of the food at Coco Cay, but this pizza was just bland and nothing special. I like Sorrento's better. Overall, I rate the itineraries a 3 out of 5. The service and staff on board Utopia of the Seas was surprisingly exceptional. And I say surprisingly only because this was one of the first sailings, and sometimes it takes crew a little while to get in the groove, and if they're having a bad day, they can share their mood on their face or their service isn't as good. But that was not the case for us for both of our sailings. We had great service, especially in our dining area, and I think that's why we went back to 150 Central Park and hooked twice, was because our servers that we had for all of those times were great. Since we were on a back-to-back sailing, we did switch rooms, and I will say that both of our room attendants were really great. Sometimes I feel bad because we do ask for extra stuff, and we ask for stuff like hangers and extra pillows, and sometimes they give us a look like they don't want to do it, but that wasn't the case for either of these cruises. Both room attendants were great. Overall, I rate service and staff a 5 out of 5. Overall, I was very impressed with everything about Utopia of the Seas. My favorite part of my entire cruise was, I think, my dining and just overall new experiences on board. It's very rare that I get to go on a new ship I haven't tried before, and Utopia had so many activities and firsts for me. I do want to share what we paid for these sailings since it was so expensive. So for the 3-night cruise, we spent $2,294. And for the 4-night, we spent $3,518. And so for all 7 nights, both cruises combined, we spent $7,797. And I know that's so expensive, and it sounds so crazy to think back at it and like say it out loud, but it's so expensive because it's the newest cruise ship out there and everyone wants to go on it. So I promise that prices eventually will go down, but since it's the newest cruise ship, it's the second largest cruise ship, it's still in such high demand. Let me know in the comments which cruises you have booked for the rest of 2024. And remember, if you found this video helpful or enjoyed it at all, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe so you're always updated with all things cruising and travel. Don't forget to always seize the day, and I'll catch you in the next video.